Today we are going to start with another LeetCode problem of SQL. This is the gameplay analysis 4. This is a medium difficulty level problem. So let us see what is there in this problem. We have been given an activity table, and in this table we have two columns, that is the primary ID, that is the player ID, and the event date. Both of these columns combined together, they form the primary key. Okay, so this particular primary key is unique to this table, and this table shows the activity of players of some games. Each row is a record of player who logged in and played a number of games before logging out on some day using some device. Write a solution to report the fraction of players that logged in again on the day after the day they first logged in, rounded to 2 decimal places. In other words, you need to count the number of players that logged in for at least 2 consecutive days, starting from their first login date. Then divide that number by total number of players. The result format is in the following example. So what exactly it is saying, that you see these are the event dates, okay, and this is the player ID. The player ID 1 has logged in on 1st of March 2016, and he has again played on 2nd of March 2016. So for 2 consecutive days the player ID 1 has logged in. So we can consider this particular player ID that it has logged in this next day. Okay, and if you look at number third, right, number second, so it has logged in for 25th, but it has never logged in again. Okay, so we won't consider this. And number third, it has logged in on 22nd of March 2016, but the second time it logged in was 3rd of July 2018. So after 2 years almost, okay, it has logged back in. So it is not for 2 consecutive days, right? It is for more than 2 years, right? So we won't be taking this into account. So total will be player ID 1, okay, unique player ID, that is 1 divided by total number of player IDs, that is 1 by 3, that is 0.33. Okay. So how we are going to approach this problem, right? First and foremost, we don't know, okay, we don't know that what is going to be the login date, right? Because this can be randomly ordered, right? It is not like it is going to be sorted or something. So we need to first find out what is going to be the login date. Okay, so obviously if login date is our first date, so it is going to be the minimum of all the event dates, okay, grouped by the player IDs, correct? So we are going to group it by player ID, and we are going to find out the login date first. What is going to be the login date? The minimum date for all the days that player ID has played, right? So let's first find out the login date for all the player IDs. So we are going to say select player ID, minimum of event date. Okay, and we are going to name this as first login, okay, from activity table, correct, group by the player ID. Okay, so if I run this one, what I will get? What I will get? I will get the login ID for all the player IDs, right? So for player ID 1, this is the first login date. For player ID 2, this is the first login date. For player ID 3, this is the first login date. Okay. Now after this, what is going to be approach? We have to find out, okay, we have to find out the number of players, the count of the number of players that logged in for at least 2 consecutive days. Okay, so we are not considered about 3 days or 4 days. If we find out that who played for at least 2 consecutive days, our task is done. So how we are going to find out? You see, this is the first login date. We need to find out this date plus one more day. We will be getting that date, and because player ID and the event date, these two combined are the primary keys, we are going to simply find out that whether this player ID comma this new next day login ID, if that exists within the activity table. If it exists within the activity table, then we are going to consider that the sum of that count divided by the total number of player IDs. That's all we have to do. So our next task is going to be to find out the next login date. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Let's store this in a temporary table. Okay, with temp. And now we are going to find out the next day. So how we are going to find out? See, we cannot use the lead function in this case. Okay, we cannot use the lead function in this case because lead function will only work if that date exists within the data set, within the activity data set, right? So lead function will not work in this case. What we will have to do, we will have to find out the next day, right? So we need to add one to this particular date. So we are going to use the date add function. Okay, and this is the first login date. Okay, comma interval of 1 day. Okay, so we have an interval of 1 day, we are adding 1 day, and we will be naming this as next day from temp. Okay, from temp. And then if I run this one, what I will be getting, see, we have got the next day. Now we are going to find out whether the tuple 1 comma this day is present in the activity table or not, right? So we are going to store this also into the, and I'm going to place a comma here. Okay, so we are going to place this also into the temporary table. Okay, if there are two temporary tables, we are going to give a comma over here. Okay, and now what we have to do, we have to simply check whether the player ID is present or not. Okay, so what we can do is we can find out, see, select count of distinct player IDs. Okay, this is going to count the number of distinct player IDs. Okay, and from activity table where now my tuple player ID comma the event date. Okay, event date in select, okay, the player ID comma next login. Okay, the next login from, that is, okay, this is not next login, right? This is next day, so this will be next day. Okay, this will be the next day from temp 2. Okay, we have this in temp 2. Okay, so now what this will do, we need to check. Okay, we are checking the count of player IDs from activity table where this player ID comma event date is present in the player ID comma next day from temp 2. Okay, so we will be getting the those distinct player IDs from this table where this matches. Okay, so we will be obviously getting one in this case, right? We have only got one player ID, but now we have to divide this, correct? How we are going to divide this? We are going to simply write select the count of distinct player ID. Okay, and after this from the activity table, right? From the activity table. So if I divide this, okay, I will be getting the answer that 1 divided by 3. But obviously we have to round this also to decimal places. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to use the round function. Okay, we are going to use this round function, not here, not here, because this is going to give me the value. We have to use the round function here. We have to, yeah, round over here. Okay, comma 2, and obviously in order for us to return the value, we have to use select. Okay. So this is it, and we are going to return the value as aliases x fraction. Correct? So if I run this, I guess this will give us the answer. Okay, what it is saying. Okay, this has to be within brackets because this is not going to work. Okay, this has to be within brackets. Now let me run this. Now this is accepted. Let us submit this. Okay, so now as you can see, the solution is 554 millisecond and it beats 36.2. So this is a pretty efficient solution. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, then please subscribe this channel and please give us a thumbs up. Thanks.